always her be up here besides me? Am I the only one that asks that in our lives? And yet we have a guidance system, an inner guidance system, and gifts of the Spirit that lead us through this life as crazy as it can be. I don't know if I shared last week with you or not about have you all seen the Christmas movie? It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Man Who Invented Christmas. It's the story of Charles Dickens and how he had a writer's block. And he just could not write anymore. Nothing he wrote was selling. And he was about to go into poverty himself. And before he could write the Christmas Carol, which has become, a sensation all on its own, he had to face his own ghosts of the past, present, and future. And through his own story, his own inner search. And he was guided through it. He was able to write that beautiful story of the Christmas Carol that we watch and read every year. And so we have to look at our own life experiences that are created from our past, and they'll keep showing up into the future, especially if we built a condominium there. Anybody here built a condo in the past? I think I've let something go and I find myself getting stirred up all over again, We have to quit building condominiums in the past and clear anything that needs to be cleared, because our present moment is shaping our future, and only if we choose to change and to free ourselves. The future is up to us right now in the present. So are you with me so far? I'm a Gemini, so this kind of goes all over the place today, but there is a thread. The next thread is there is no time. That one always keeps me up till 3 in the morning. Alan Watts once said, "I have realized that the past and future are real illusions. They exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is." In other words, there is only the present moment. And again, like Charles Dickens, we can get into those blocks if we get stuck in the past while wanting the future to be different. How can the future be different if we're stuck in the past? So how do we navigate through all this? Well, the Christmas story is very clear. Those 3 wise magi that came bearing gifts. And back then they were called astrologers, astronomers. It was a respectable science and was based on the laws of the universe, that everything is connected, everything affects everything else, as above, so below. And we in unity, as within, as without. Very scientific, spiritual principles. And these magi traveled so far, following the star, to their own inner light, to find their own inner light, and that is really what Christmas is all about. I had the privilege of living at Unity Village for many years, going through school, and down in the vault of the library, it's so exciting because you see all these writings of Charles and Myrtle, all the classes they took and the notes they wrote that had never been published. And there was one about the 3 wise men. And the first thing he said is, they always say they came from the East. And if you take that literally, people have portrayed them as from the Eastern, philosophy or the Orient. And that metaphysically, East always means, metaphysically and spiritually, your spiritual divine nature. So right away, they are the light. They're following the light to find it within, and the light is guiding us all through the story. And metaphysically, those 3 wise men are our inner wisdom that rises up through our sense consciousness, from our spirit, whenever we need help to navigate through this crazy world. And Charles Fillmore was such for those who don't know him, the co-founder of Unity, he and Myrtle. And they were so knowing and awakened to the fact that we are spiritual beings, that we are all naturally spirit. And Jesus gave expression to this when he said, "Glorify me with the glory I had with you before the world was born." And that is often misinterpreted. He wasn't asking to be worshipped as a god. He was asking for his spiritual nature to take over the humanness, as we too can do. And Charles Fillmore quoted the Bible with this quote more than any other quote Colossians 1:27, Christ in you, your hope of glory, so that we can be as we were before we started making this real, thinking this was it. And when Jesus was transfigured, he took his three best friends, the number 3 comes up in these stories a lot, Peter, James, and John, and they saw his glory. They saw only his light, not his humanness. But back to the Christmas story. Again, you're working with a Gemini here. Herod set out to kill that light. He was killing all the babies because he'd had a prophecy that one of these children being born would overtake him and take over his kingship. So he set out to kill that light, and I'm sure we can all relate here. Anybody ever had your light killed? Your hope killed? Your faith killed? Your joy killed? We can do that here on this earth plane to each other, to ourselves. Eric Butterworth once said, Jesus was not the great exception, but the great example. And his greatest teaching was know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So back to the vault at Unity Village. You're going to have to take notes to keep up with me today. I'm all over the place. Charles Fillmore said a prayer. And his prayer style was so unique and eloquent, I can never pray like he does. I always have to pray in my own words, and I always ask everybody to use your own words when you pray. It won't have any meaning for you if it's not your own words. But he said, I know the law of good, and I open the way to that good. I and my Father are one wisdom. I throw all my force into the omnipotent glory and see light everywhere. Wow. What a prayer. Again, far too eloquent for my words. I'm more the school of prayer, where some days I just say, oh hell, I'm well. You know, that's one of my styles today. The Course in Miracles teaches nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. And so, like the prodigal son, we have to come back to that truth, come back to our Father's house, to that place of truth. When the world is going crazy, we know we have that spiritual nature in us that is guiding us through it all. So if you're comfortable repeating with me, I choose to live in the house of truth. Together, I choose to live in the house of truth. And if we follow that inner light, that navigation system, nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. I love the word for today, peace. Let's say that together. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Together, nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And Jesus, throughout his life, had his 3 best friends, Peter, James, and John, who metaphysically represent our faith, our wisdom, and our love that sustain us through the journey on this crazy life we call planet Earth. And then at the birth of the Christ are the 3 wise men from the East. And the East is what? Our spiritual nature. That inner wisdom that rises up to the surface when we need it. And they brought gifts. 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Just what every baby needs. And there was a 4th wise man, you've all heard this one, the 4th wise man that nobody talks about because he tried to bring fruitcake and they turned him away. And you all talk about the 3 women. If there had really been 3 women, it would have been different. There'd have been casseroles, diapers, a few pacifiers, and a 4th gift, mocha lattes for Mother Mary. She needed a mocha latte by then, I'm sure. But the Magi didn't do too bad with their gifts. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Metaphysically, what are they in us? Well, gold represents the gifts of the Spirit, that omnipresent divine substance that's all around us, and it's shaped by our consciousness. You're always provided for, as Jesus was always provided for, when you know about the gift of the omnipresent substance all around us. That's why last night we had a treasure mapping party for the new year. You know, we can shape the future by letting go of the past and creating what we want the future to be in the present. The next gift was frankincense, that fragrant gum resin. Like you need gum resin, right? But metaphysically, it enables us to transmute material consciousness into spiritual consciousness, and it was a gift that Jesus needed for his transfiguration, when he was able then to transform his physical being into the glory that he was before the world began, into his light body. And his three best friends saw only his light body. So myrrh, what was the gift of myrrh for? Another fragrant gum resin, used often in incense. And metaphysically, it represents the eternality of spirit. Spirit is eternal. You can't kill spirit. It's an outpouring of divine love that holds us in life forever. And so Jesus used that after the crucifixion, through the resurrection, to rise up above into life that never ends, into life that is eternal. His whole life he had gold, frankincense, and myrrh, those three gifts. And we have those same gifts, gold, that spiritual substance to shape our life with our consciousness, with our thoughts and words, and our intentions. Frankincense, we all have the ability to transform our physicality into our spiritual nature, the glory that we had before the world was born. And myrrh, that divine ointment of love, the thought of love poured all over us to sustain us and assist us in resurrecting or overcoming anything. Overcoming anything. Christ in you, your hope of glory. And if you believe that, let's put an I in that. And if you're comfortable repeating with me, Christ in me, my hope of glory. Can we say that together? Christ in me, my hope of glory. And let's take that into prayer as we close our eye once more. Into that silence, into that quiet, where we release and let go of the past. We tear down those condominiums and build a new place in the present moment. Built on truth, the house of truth. And we allow the divine substance around us to be shaped by those higher ideas of love and peace and joy and hope and faith. And we go courageously into the future with a new consciousness, a new vision, a new idea of what life can be. With the three gifts of the Magi, we are so blessed in each other's presence. And we do pray this in the nature of the living Christ within us all. And so it is, so it truly is. Amen.